Hello, internets. This is Bone Carlos coming to you live from Ohana to bring you another StarCraft 2. Well, you know what? It's not another StarCraft 2 commentary. It's a little bit different. We're concurrently live streaming and recording this, also drinking, and also with me is I Big and Scary. Just too much stuff. Say hello to everyone. I Big and Scary.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine afternoon?
We're doing great. How about you?
That's what they said,
That
and
is exactly
I'm doing
it.
fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Let's go ahead and introduce the players. Today, we're going to see Aura spawning as the red Terran. His opponent is going to be Osiris spawning as the blue version of the same race. So a TVT, everything's all fantastic, hunky-dory. And I did mention this is going to be a drinking game. We're going to go ahead and post up the rules that we've come up with so far. Yeah, you guys can get inebriated with us or not, whatever. You guys can choose whatever the hell you guys want.
It's personal preference indeed. And I have a question for you, Bone Carlos.
You can go ahead and ask.
The bottom right, you pronounce it aura. Is it or? Is it like a single rowing utensil, as in or?
Oh no, that would be with an E.
With an E. Okay, because like I feel like if he was a rowing utensil, he'd be at a severe disadvantage to Osiris, who happens to be a god.
Well, at that point, anybody would be at a disadvantage unless you were a bigger god.
Yeah, he could be another Egyptian god. I feel like only Egyptian gods can fight other Egyptian gods because it's kind of like Batman versus, I don't know, Daredevil or whoever.
That's actually a
I'm
good
a big
fight.
fan of Batman. Really, Daredevil?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
I think so. Because everything that Batman has going in his favor, Daredevil could do better. Aside from the gadgets.
Batman's so clever, he'd like use the ultra sensitive hearing in his advantage.
That is,
he'd, like,
yeah. Once he figured,
he'd pick a fight in a China shop and be breaking China all the time.
That is true. Why a China shop?
Well, I don't know. It was the thing that sprang to mind. It could be a bell shop. There's not many bell shops in my area.
That is, well, living in Afghanistan, it happens.
You know what's in the area of Aura's base was a scouting drone from Osiris. He came in, scouted that the two gas had indeed gone down, so it's going to see a more technologically advanced build coming out of Aura. And then Osiris scouted out with his drone to the bottom left corner, trying to hide by those destructible debris. And it looks like that Aura's first Marine is not going to scout that SCV that's hiding in the wings. Going to try to scout the expansion that's going to come down from Aura in a couple of minutes, I hope.
And honestly, I don't think there's going to be an expansion coming down. There's going to be a double refinery coming out. I expect to see more sort of a tech-heavy play, especially with a double refinery. Maybe see some cloaked banshees. Some Reaper action, but Reaper's really only on one refinery, so I expect to see some sort of tech-heavy play. We see Osiris going to go ahead and scatter again with his SCV. A Marine is going to go ahead and give chase, get tired, stop, and then go again. But we see Osiris already expanding to his natural expansion.
This is one of the weird things about Terran is that it's very hard to do a very sneaky build. Sometimes you'll see like the Twilight Council go down and immediately following the Dark Templar Shrine, and with Terran it's very hard to do that because you have to get the factory and then you get the starport and then you get the add-on, and it's so much time to get those Banshees out, which is your heavy, high, and expensive cheese unit. We do see the factory going down, so that appears to be the route that Aura is taking, but it takes so long that Terran usually has plenty of time to react and build up his defenses, and that's what Osiris was trying to do. He was trying to do that late scout to get in and see that the factory was going up, and we can see it's right on top of that barracks, but the Aura was just a little bit too clever for that. He held off on building the factory until he was absolutely sure that the scout was going to be denied, and now he's throwing down that factory, and Osiris is a little bit blind to that fact.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, but he decided to build a reactor on top of that factory, and now he's going to go ahead and put down a tech lab with that initial barracks. So it looks like we're going to see some sort of reactored Hellions coming out of Aura with that reactor. If it was a tech lab that barracks built, I would say Cloak Banshees all the way. You see a starport building concurrently with that tech lab. So this is very interesting play by Aura. This is not standard whatsoever. He's going to go ahead and expand behind that, but already Osiris has his expansion up. He has 1, 2, 3 barracks, and that's about it. He just finished up his factory, so he's going to go ahead and put on a starport. So more than likely Osiris is doing his standard play. Drink.
And you look at the building placement, that factory is actually building a tech lab, and the starport is directly underneath it for Osiris. So it looks like he's going to have his own Banshees coming out. The barracks that repositioned after it built that reactor actually moved over and built a tech lab for himself, and that starport repositioned on the tech lab and then immediately started to build a medevac. And it looks like that medevac is going to be used in conjunction with the Hellions for some sort of drop play from Aura into Osiris. And what I think that is going to do is buy time for Aura to get out the multitude of Banshees that you need in dealing with Terran, because Terran is unlike every other race where it's kind of difficult to pull out that anti-air early on. Those Marines are so good at dealing with those Banshees, and then you automatically have the orbital commands that can throw down that scan and deny the cloak. So Banshees are a little bit less effective versus Terran than anything else, and I think that how Aura is going to make them more effective is by faking out Osiris and dealing with those Hellions first, and then following it up with a 1-2 punch in the form of a Banshee, which we can already see is being produced.
Definitely. We see Cloaked Banshee going up by Aura. We already see Aura picking up those Hellions, so the drop is going to happen. I do believe a drop is a drink, so a drink.
I took one just because it tastes so delicious.
My cup is half empty and we're already 5 minutes into the game. But here comes a drop. The Hellions have been dropped at the extremes of the main base, and they're just going to go ahead and sit there and pummel away at the barracks. Osiris sees this. He's going to go ahead and give chase with his Marines. SCVs have already been pulled. They're lining up quite nicely. A couple of volleys from the Marines chase away the Hellions. Medevac picks him up, and he's going to go ahead and drop it on the natural expansion. So a big old switcheroo. We give him the slip, and now here it comes. Drop it, and the SCVs have been pulled. Minimal losses have been occurred by Aura, but really this is just buying himself some time. He's going to go ahead and pick up those two Hellions and go ahead and drop them again in the main. Aura is just going ahead and dancing around, playing around with Osiris, just denying that mining time that's really needed, and down goes the medevac.
Yeah, and if you look at the resources lost tab, it's 600 over 75 in the favor of Osiris. So even though he cleaned up that entire drop play, took out the medevac, which is very expensive in as far as gas and also the potential of further drops, it can't be discounted the fact that Aura denied a lot of mining time to these bases. So even though he didn't kill off too many SCVs, I don't know if he killed off even a single one, he did deny mining time in 2 different expansions and delayed Osiris's push. And it looks like Osiris has finally had enough. He's going to push out, take the aggression onto Aura, but has he bought enough time to get out the Banshee that he needs? I know he had one being produced. There's one on the field, but where exactly is it? Is it down by the natural?
It is currently harassing the natural expansion of Osiris. The tank is going to go ahead and push forward, not going to do much. Here comes the heavy damage being done by this Banshee. Osiris doesn't know what to do. It looks like he's going to go ahead and commit, push forward with his attack, while his Banshee's going to go ahead and get himself plenty of kills already at 10. And Osiris is going to go ahead and take this forward position of that watchtower in front of Aura's base. Siege mode is already researched. And at the same time, Aura is too, sieging up those siege tanks. So looks like this attack will be repelled alongside with the Banshee that is doing 14 kills so far and going to do plenty of damage.
Yeah, that Banshee has absolutely devastated the saturation down at the natural, and it's moving on to the main base of Osiris. And unfortunately, Osiris has decided to take a bit of a constraining position against Aura, and all he's doing is denying the third right now, but Aura is absolutely ravaging the mineral income of Osiris, and he's doing a fantastic job. This is the perfect follow-up to that initial harassment, and the fact that Osiris had pulled out with all of his Marines, all of his anti-air, just made that Banshee even more effective. In fact, we can see that he whiffed a scan as the excellent control out of Aura, moving that Banshee off to the natural. Just doing even more damage, 21 kills on that Banshee.
Yeah, definitely. That Banshee has already paid itself in spades, but we see Osiris just knocking at the front door of Aura and managed to hit down a single siege tank out of the 2 that were guarding it. And now this bunker is going to go ahead and go down, and these Marines are going to die, but really Aura is just focusing on this Banshee. Has 26 kills, 50 energy left. Not enough energy left on these orbital commands to get any sort of scan down, and Aura is just shelling up his faces. He has plenty of siege tanks just littered around the main and natural expansion, high ground, low ground, left, right, up, down, backed up with these Hellions. So right now it's a little bit of a standstill while Aura just has free reign over these SCVs. 35 kills. Here comes a scan, I would say.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That is, and finally The Banshee goes down. Looking at the units workers killed, it's 33 workers killed. That is insane. 58 harvesters to Aura, 19 to Osiris. Now we're going to go ahead and see a little bit of a Viking war going on. 2 Vikings per player at the natural expansion of Aura, and Osiris decides to say, you know what? What happened to my SCVs? I'm going to head on home.
He's in a lot of trouble. He's so far behind in the economy as well as the infrastructure. I mean, we see 3 factories going 100% on their production. Lots of Vikings on the way and siege tanks, and this unit composition is going to be incredibly scary in just a couple of minutes. And Aura is definitely playing for the late game, and he's bought himself so much time that he can spend on getting up more research and have a very intimidating force in the later game. Osiris unfortunately can't hold that contain that he had on Aura, had to pull back, and Aura all he's going to do is go out and take a third, and we can see that the CC is being produced up by the natural.
Yeah, no, the command center for Osiris is already going to go ahead and put down on his 3rd expansion. Aura already has his up. He actually has, yeah, no, he has his expansion up, but he decided not to move in and out yet, but he's building a 4th command center already, so 1, 2, 3 command centers for Aura, a 4th being built, while Osiris goes and takes his 3rd, and the food differential is huge. 84 for Osiris, 137 for Aura. If I were Aura right now, I would just push forward and continue the harassment, and it looks like the harassment might not continue because he's just spreading his units around. He has Marines here and there. Gonna go ahead and scout with this factory, but he doesn't look like he's gearing up for any sort of harassment. It looks like he's gonna go ahead and try to macro up and then take that 3rd expansion of his own.
Absolutely, and I think that's the right decision given the build that Aura is going. It's definitely a late game heavy hitter. He's going to be relying on a lot of researches, upgrades that he can get later on. You can see that the Hellflame and the +1 for armor and weapons are both on their way for Aura. And later on, his siege tanks and Hellions are going to be far more intimidating than they actually are now. Those Hellions eat up a lot of supply, and they're not going to be very useful to the weapons that Osiris has out on the field right now. Those combat and stim Marines, supplemented by those siege tanks, will absolutely chew them up before those Hellions can prove to be effective. Later on, though, Aura's going to have Thors out on the field. He's going to have a lot of upgrades on his siege tanks, and he'll be able to do that slow crawl. Aura needs to get up that 4th base, which he's taking right now, and out macro Osiris, because he's bought so much time to get up just a heavy economic lead. 60 over 41 harvesters, but so many minerals have been eaten up by Osiris trying to get his economy back up into full swing, and we can even now it's still stunted.
Yeah, definitely. But at what point do you decide to move out? Because you give a player enough time to stabilize, to get his economy back up and running, and suddenly you're on equal footing. Right now, it's not going to happen anytime soon because Aura does have +1 in the mining bases available to him. I mean, he has 4 bases compared to 3. But at what time do you decide to stop being so passive and decide to attack, do a drop, do something just to force your opponent to commit to producing attacking units, Marines, Marauders, whatever, what have you, instead of those SCVs? Because in production right now, Osiris is actually building a Thor, so very interesting choice by him. He's going to go ahead and researching up a lot of upgrades, while at the same time Aura is still building SCVs. And looking at the income tab, we see 67 harvesters already by Aura, and it looks like he's still building them hand over fist. He has 3 queued up here, 2 queued up there, Planetary Fortress at his 3rd, and another one at his 4th, so he's still queuing up those SCVs by the handfuls.
He's not going to be able to produce SCVs for very much longer because he's actually maxed, and I think now is the time that Aura is going to have to move out in order to get out a better unit composition. So much supply has been eaten up by those Hellions and Vikings, which are going to be proven to be of limited effectiveness later on. You need to get rid of those Hellions, get rid of those Vikings, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned drops earlier. Aura needed to keep the pressure on, but he did not need to commit his entire army. A drop of another 4 Hellions in a medevac would have been absolutely fantastic to keep Osiris just on the back foot, because he'd already taken the initiative. He doesn't need to keep the lead, he just needs to keep Osiris contained and worried and concerned about those drops to keep Osiris from moving out with his dangerous medevacs, because what you don't want to see is a counter drop from Osiris. He's got those medevacs, he's got those Marines, he's got the potential for a drop, and that can be so devastating even if you have the economic lead. You can lose that in an instant to a batch of stemmed Marines.
Yeah, no, definitely. And throughout that
Did I get you mid-drink?
Yeah, you did. You got me mid-drink. I'm like, this guy's going to keep going for another 17 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take a drink. Oh, he stops? Yeah, way to make me look bad. But you were talking about freeing up supply, and I do believe that's what he did. He actually took the high ground with these siege tanks on that potential fourth of Osiris. He lost a lot of Hellions, but really at that point, he has plenty of money. And speaking of money, both players are up 1,000 and 3,000. Wow, that is 3 drinks every, what did we decide?
Well, wait for a second. Aura just cleared 3,000,
wow,
so that's 4 now.
No, it's 3 drinks. It's 1,000, 2,000. It's just, yeah. Oh, here it comes. A stim. The Marine's going to go ahead and push forward, try to take out as many siege tanks as possible. It looks like Thors are trying to back him up. Blue Flame Hellions are melting very, very quickly. All the siege tanks are done. Thors are going to go out. And now, wow, yeah. Look at that.
That just shows you how absolutely vulnerable Mech is for Terran. You catch those siege tanks unsieged just for a second, and your entire army can melt away. Those Thors got absolutely ravaged by that Marine counter push, and we can see that there's not many Marines and Marauders left, but oh my goodness, they're so cost effective against that Mech when it's caught unprepared. And all of a sudden, Aura has lost his advantage. I mean, it's 150 over 139. Harvester count is pretty much neck and neck. 75 over 64 as far as Terran is concerned. That can be made up by a handful of mules. Really, what Osiris' limiting factor is the fact that his main is completely manned out. His natural is getting there. He needs to take out that fourth, and Aura has taken his fourth already. So economically speaking, he's a more sound position. But I think Osiris is going to answer back with a counter push of his own. He's moving out with his siege tanks and Marines, which can prove to be a very mobile force, and I think Osiris needs to capitalize on that. And
yeah, no, definitely. We're going to see another small engagement happening at the 5th expansion of Aura. Looks like it's going to be Thor, Marine, Marauder, Siege Tank versus just pure Thor, and look at the scans go off, making sure all the vision is there, and it looks like the higher upgrade advantage, what you were talking about not even 10 minutes ago, definitely paid off, and just definitely paid off. We see Thor's 222, while Osiris has no upgrades on his mech, and really that attack was pretty much a wash. We see, yeah, Osiris definitely stalled. Aura pulled it off and repelled him.
This has proven to be Osiris's main problem, is the fact that he's not willing to commit to a specific build. He's throwing in all sorts of different units into his composition. He's got Thors, he's got Siege Tanks, Vikings, Medivacs, Marauders, Marines, and he needs to commit. He's committed to Bio, or he did when he set up his infrastructure. He's got 6 different barracks back at home, but now he's got 2 starports and then maybe a siege tank producing factory. He needs to commit to that heavy bio ball, use that high mobility that's inherent to that unit composition, get those medevacs out there, do some counter drops, and don't play this game on Aura's turn, because you're going to lose. If you go up to a straight slugging match against these Thors, which we're seeing right now, you're going to get your entire unit composition melted away. But Osiris has an advantage, which is that mobility, and he's not using it.
Definitely true. Osiris is just sticking to... I think he might be overthinking it at this point. Right now, dropping left, dropping right, dropping here, dropping there, doing something to just throw Aura off balance, because Osiris has been at a disadvantage this entire match. And I would like to point out something that Day 9 once said. I mean, a couple of years ago when this game first came out, I was just trying to learn how to be better at this game, which is why I got the high diamond. I actually credit him to getting me out of bronze. I placed in bronze right out of the gate. And I credited him to getting me out of bronze into platinum. And after that, I just started hammering away and got myself into diamond. One of the whenever you listen to someone just trying to teach you something, a few things stick out every once in a while. And this is one of the things that stuck out to me is, if you want to have a very diverse army in StarCraft 2, expect it to be smaller. If you want to have a very large army, expect it to be not so diverse, which is what we're seeing out of Osiris. Yes, he has Thors, he has Siege Tanks, Marines, Marauders, he has this, he has that, but it's very small compared to Aura's just mass Thor army that we're seeing just plow through the 4th base of Osiris.
Did you ever play Warcraft?
I did not. I did not play Warcraft. Do we have time for a funny anecdotal story? Oh,
dude, we always have time.
We're having
for
a very high-paced razor edge match right now, but let's go ahead and talk about my youth. And let's see. When was this? This was, where was I living? I was living in there, so 6th, 7th grade. So 8th grade actually. It was like 1999, 2000, 98, 99. This is when the StarCraft 2 Battle Chest was coming out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And my family would visit Costco. I don't know if you have Costco over on the East Coast, do you? Oh, yeah, right? Buying in bulk is a God-given right. Okay. So, and you know how they have the central area of the books and the video games and the movies? You guys don't have those in your Costco?
No. It's pure food.
It's all food? Okay. Well, in the Costco over here on our side, it's food on the outer extremities, and on the middle, it's a lot of electronics, so TV, stuff like that, and right next to it are clothes. So, yeah, it's like an all-purpose store kind of thing. We see SCVs attacking the 3rd expansion of Osiris.
Right.
Like Aura just...
Oh, he's just freeing up supply. He's got over almost 4,000 minerals. He does not need those SCVs
That's
in any
exactly
form.
what he's doing right now. So interested to see an SCV fight. We're going to go ahead and see SCVs going back and forth, trying to heal. Desperately trying to heal and keep their allies alive, but at the same time going to go ahead and nibble away at the opponent's SCVs. We're going to see going and go back and forth, back and forth. A couple of SCVs are not doing anything, just hanging out. One with a canister of Vespin gas, and it's finally going to go ahead and attack. And there's a huge... Oh my God.
Force.
No. Forget that main force. We're going to see an SCV battle going on. Finally, Osiris's SCVs just cancel each other out and say, you know what, I give up. Go ahead and nibble away for me. Aura is going to go ahead and get plenty of kills with SCV. I see 1 with 2, 1 with 3, 1 with 4 kills. Marines are finally there to chase away these SCVs. And look at that. SCV surround the Marine, finally take it out. Now a single SCV is going to go ahead and reinforce that first Marine that died, and now it's 2 Marines, 1 Marine, 2 SCVs. All the SCVs are cleaned up, and wow, there's a huge battle going on in Aura's main base. Why didn't you tell me this was going on? Osiris is going to go ahead and push forward.
At the same time, Osiris has moved in with his enormous bio ball and completely caught Aura 100% by surprise. 19 Thors were cut down to 4 Thors in a matter of seconds as they retreated into the natural. The natural has gone down completely. Osiris has continued his push with a mainly Marauder force, and remember that Marauders do a surprising amount of damage against armored units, and Thors are armored. So they did a fantastic counter push with their high mobility, chased down those Thors which were caught out of position with a superior concave, and have absolutely decimated Aura's infrastructure. All these factories are going to go down. Aura all of a sudden is forced to switch up his unit production, and we can see that a couple of battle cruisers are finishing right now. The main infrastructure for that is down into the 3rd. We can see almost, what is that, 6 starports are producing battle cruisers.
Popped.
And they're going to be a fantastic
my God,
combo.
6 battle cruisers up against a single Thor, and how many Marines is then? Yeah, 6, 7 Marines. That is insane. But what was more insane was that SCV battle, man. Did you catch that? That was crazy.
I did. There was a lot of dead SCVs there, and it was awesome. The Thors, you didn't miss much. The Thors were just retreating while they got picked off. I think that the SCV battle was far more important.
That's the linchpin of this attack. We see battle cruisers or cattle bruisers gonna go ahead and push forward. SCVs or Sea Shanks are gonna go ahead and siege up. Why? Because it looks cool. Why not? Marines are gonna go ahead and get pummeled away very, very quickly. Vikings are gonna take care of those medevacs, and now Marines are going to die very quickly.
Yeah, battle cruisers are so good against Marines. I absolutely love that decision by Blizzard too, making so that rapid fire weak attack is so perfectly suited against those weak units, and you need a high powered unit like the Viking to take them out. Their counters are a little bit more expensive, like the Corruptors. I think the battle cruisers are absolutely perfect in StarCraft 1, and I guess StarCraft 2 is going to be pretty much the same thing. We can see that number is absolutely critical right now, and I don't think Aura is going to have a problem if he continues to press his advantage right now. We can see a little bit of back and forth is going on at the 5th while Osiris grabs the gas and Aura grabs the minerals. Maybe they can share. Maybe they can get along. You know?
I was hoping you would point that out. Osiris said, "You know what? The gas is mine because it's mine. You could go ahead and do whatever you want." That was hilarious. But no, on point for your battle cruiser tirade that you were going on. I'm gonna go ahead and call it tirade. Why not? I definitely love the battle cruisers in StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 1, Brood War, I didn't really like them because what did you hear when you saw battle cruisers en masse? Yeah.
Oh, the Yamato cannon. It's
Yeah,
just
or a
constant
pew.
cannon.
Pew. You know, I looked at them, I'm like,
No, you just never use the BC for that. You use the BC to snipe missile turrets so you can get your ghost in and drop those nukes for
I don't know. I played
incredibly
a lot
overpowered.
of fastest map possible. I wasn't really big on the melee in StarCraft 1, but in the battle cruisers were. I just looked at them. I'm like, you guys are supposed to be these awesome tier 3 units, and really, I feel bad for you because you guys are just terrible, in my opinion. And then I see them in StarCraft 2. I'm just like, oh, these guys are badass.
Yep. Yeah, they're basically flying Colossus that specify the person that they're trying to destroy.
It's so awesome.
I absolutely love it. How fast they are, how devastating
Like,
they are.
have you seen the new StarCraft, the new Star Trek movie? The new 2007 one?
Oh yeah.
How awesome was it when it pulled out all these little mini turrets out of the hole and were just shooting rockets, or shooting down the rockets? Do you remember what scene I'm talking about when it swoops in at the end, and it has like all these lasers just going off?
I mean, I remember the rockets. I definitely remember the rockets. How they like defragmented during flight and turned into like shrapnel that impacted the hull. I absolutely love that movie. I've never been a Star Trek fan. Like, I've actively hated it because of my fandom for Star Wars, and that movie was radical to me. Like, it totally changed my point of view
Here comes a big battle
Star
sent
Trek.
forward by the Marines Marauders, but they are just absolutely melting to these battle cruisers. No upgrades on them. 3-3 on the Terran infantry of Osiris, but the battle cruisers provide too powerful. Aura decides to GG. And, oh, is this BM? Oh, that's BM,
No,
a
that's
drink.
a preempt GG. There's no reason for Aura to GG. He's winning in mass. He's got so many BCs out, and he's GGing in the hopes that Osiris is going to tap out. Unfortunately to him, Osiris still has his infrastructure completely intact. All he needs to do is get out the units capable of dealing with these BCs. He needs to get out a ridiculous number of Vikings and a lot of Marines.
That's the problem. Aura has
with
plenty
these
of Vikings
BCs.
of his own. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 Vikings. And there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 battle cruisers. I mean, what's the number that you're going to need? He's just building pure Marines at this point. What's he going to need to be able to take down this force? I don't know.
I don't think that
This game is
decision.
all over the place. We started off with mech versus bio, mech versus mech. Now we got air versus bio, and actually we see a lot of Marines hanging around the main base of Osiris. He's actually, looking at the units count, we actually see 66 Marines for Osiris. This might be enough.
Yeah. And 66 Marines, but approximately 18 of them are hanging out unused in the middle of Osiris's base. They're not queued up to move anywhere. They're just kind of hanging out. And finally, he's found them. He's finally moving them. Oh my goodness, I was going to be furious if he lost these coming battles because he's left half of his force.
And at the same time, Aura is just
gonna
starting
be
to build up
unforgiving.
his Hellions to directly counter any sort of Marine play that he could possibly play. His Hellions are going to go ahead and push forward into the fourth, but at the same time going to leave those battle cruisers unprotected. Stim forward, take down 1, takes down 2, and it looks like a great concave by these Marines, but still, they are melting positively quickly. Do these battle cruisers 3, 4, 5, 6 battle cruisers go down? 7 is going to go down very quickly, and 8th is in the red. It's down now, and now it's going to be Hellions are finally going into the Marines. The Marines are going to go ahead and melt to the Hellions, but it looks like the Marines are victorious. Vikings do land. It's going to go ahead and attack with their own assault rifles, but they are dead very quickly. Oh my God.
That is an incredible engagement for Osiris. Way to be ballsy. Way to push out. I mean, he's got 3-3 Marines against unupgraded BCs. He's got the infrastructure in place for those medevacs to heal up those Marines. It is incredible play for him to actually trust his Marines to be able to deal with those BCs. At least 3 times during that engagement, I thought he was dead, and he's come out on top. Unfortunately, he's been unable to secure his 5th. His 3rd and his natural are completely mined out. His economy is absolutely in ruins, and we can see that because he's behind by at least 1,000 minerals to Aura, who is mass-producing units, and Osiris's production tab is completely empty.
I'm going to go ahead and point out that Osiris currently has 8 harvesters. Where did they go?
That's a good point. Maybe he's been suiciding them in. Oh no, they were up by the fourth.
Oh
and that Hellion
my
attack wiped them out.
God. So Aura pretty much traded an entire, taking out, decimating Osiris' entire economy to losing his entire army. Let's see how this works out. Osiris is going to go ahead and push forward, man.
You know what? I'm going to go on the record and say that that's okay for him. Osiris still has all those orbital commands. He still has all those mules. He can get a ton of Marines because of those minerals. And Marines is his mainstay unit. He only needs those Marines because he's got plenty of medevacs, and he's going to still have the gas income because of all of those SCVs that he has left. 8 SCVs is 3 fully mined Vespene geysers. And that's quite a lot of gas that you can use to get out the medevacs necessary to supplement a mainly Marine force.
In that entire time, Osiris just took out that fourth of Aura. So now it comes down to main is gone for Aura. Natural, done. Third, done. Fourth was destroyed. All that's left is Aura's fifth. Compared to Osiris's fourth, third is done. Natural is done. Main is gone. Looks like a single Marine is going to go ahead and try to chase away this Banshee. The Banshee does go down. Good job, Marine 9 life. Oh, yeah, just give that guy
Good job.
Give that guy something. I don't know, a marshmallow. Dude, that sounds delicious right now.
Yep.
But yeah, wow, looking at the resources lost tab. Wow. Look at that. That's 253 units lost for Aura. 5,600 resources lost, and looks like another huge battle is going to go ahead and command. A single battle cruiser is there, cloaked Banshees are there, but the Marines just proved too powerful, even going up against Blue Flame Hellions. But it looks like the overwhelming mass of those Banshees finally proves to be too much for Osiris. The battle cruiser did go down. Osiris chose to focus that down, but still, now we see a small force of Aura consisting of a Hellion, cloaked Banshees, Vikings. Gonna go ahead and push forward and check out the fifth of Aura. Yeah,
and that's what Osiris is. No, correction. Aura is worried about. He's worried about Osiris having an economic lead, because at this moment it's all about economy. He's got 4 Banshees out. He's got a very powerful ground army in the form of Hellions, supplemented by those Vikings, and these Banshees are going to be able to be incredibly effective at harassing. But he's worried about what exactly Osiris has. He doesn't have a planetary to deal with these Hellions, which are decimating the fourth and taking out the only remaining desperate clump of economy that Osiris has.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it looks like Aura decided to split off his army. Going to go ahead and push forward with the cloaked Banshees into the main, while at the same time switching off the Hellions into the fourth of Osiris. The fourth is finally safe and secure, but still, Banshees are going to go ahead and try to take out as much as possible. Add-ons, left, right, barracks, whatever they can possibly take. And look at the food count, 48 to 77. Huge clump of Marines in the middle with medevacs. And looks like barracks is going to float around. And if I were Osiris, I would take out these Banshees. They're doing plenty of damage. Looks like a few more Marines do pop. They stim. They're going to go ahead and attack, but they do cloak up very, very quickly. Cloak is there. Vikings are there. Is there enough for a scan? There is enough for a scan to be able to reveal this, but I don't think he has. Yeah, he should have that orbital command hotkey. There it is.
Well, is a scan? Scans are worth 300 minerals, and are they worth 6 Marines? Are those Banshees worth 6 Marines? Yeah, they took down a reactor, but that reactor just allows you to mass produce more Marines. And as we're becoming increasingly more tight on the economy, both players have to think about what exactly can I afford to lose. Can I afford to lose a reactor, or can I afford to lose a mule? Because I need mules far more than I need reactors.
Finally, Osiris.
Right now.
At one point, Osiris was at 0 harvesters. Like, not even 20 seconds ago, he finally queued up a 4. Yeah, if you look at the income tab, he currently has 2 harvesters. He lost 2 more to those Hellions that were attacking his third base. But for quite a long time, he had 0 harvesters. And that would be the time for Osiris to pick up the orbital command at his main and drop it down on that fourth. And it looks like he's doing so. Not sure exactly where it's coming from. He has it queued up. And I'd like to point out that the Viking patrolling.
Yes, has been patrolling for at least 45 minutes.
And as soon as we talk, he moves it off of patrol. Oh!
It's like he's listening in right now, and he moves off for patrol and he misses the barracks, which is fantastic.
That's been there forever, right?
Every time I see that Viking, I want to point out that that Viking represents a very real anti-air possibility, and we can see that there's 3 battle cruisers out for Aura right now. That infrastructure never went down. The possibility of battle cruisers has been present this entire game, and Aura is desperately needing in gas. He's got 29 gas right now. He's not mining a bit of it, and his 4th is mined out, his 5th is mined out. He's so strapped for cash, it's not even funny. We're going to see the end game come into play in just a couple of seconds as Osiris moves down to that 4th and begins to push into that siege tank that's just waiting with open arms.
Woo, this is a good game, and here come Blue Flame Hellions at the 4th expansion of Osiris. Going to go ahead and take down plenty of SCVs. Again, all those SCVs are done. Harvester count back down to 0. OMG. That's all I can say about this game. Oh, this game is so awesome. I am just slobbering at the mouth a little bit. Sorry, I was going to go ahead and push out. And scan reveals 17 planetary fortresses. Not that many, I might have exaggerated. But looking at the income tab, we see 100 minerals are mining per minute because of those 35 harvesters. Wow. Nothing in production.
Yeah, that 100 is going to fall to 0 in just a couple of seconds because that mineral patch is completely done. Those 35 harvesters are totally idle.
It went down to 0. 35 harvesters, 0 income. What would you do in this situation? Would you try to consolidate? I mean, Aura has nothing. Osiris, if you were Osiris.
Depends on who I am. Who am I? I'm Osiris. I would absolutely keep my army 100% centered on this 4th base right now, and I would continually mine out of it. I'd do exactly what he's doing, which was repair, but the second I got to orange, I would stop repairing and get back to minerals, mass-produce marines, and wait out your opponent. You absolutely know that they don't have an economy, except that Aura has balls the size of baseballs because he's taking
and looking at the vision of Osiris, he has no idea this is going on.
It's absolutely disastrous. He needs to be aware of that, and it looks like he's finagling to push out a little bit, and unfortunately he's pushing into the waiting arms of those 2 planetary fortresses.
And here comes another big attack. Marine's going to go ahead and push forward, try to take out as those battlecruisers. Scandos reveal all the cloak benches. Benches go down instantaneously. Battlecruiser number 1, 2, and 3 go down. Nothing left.
Oh, check the 4th. Check the 4th, Osiris. You can do it. I believe.
Oh, Osiris, no!
He's pushing back to take that watchtower, and that is unfortunately a game-changing decision because we can see that both economies are into full swing, into kind of the re-macro build, and unfortunately Aura has the harvester count advantage, and that could change in an instant if Osiris gets to finagling to check out his own 4th.
I mean, income is 1,200 compared to 120 in both these places, but it looks like Osiris finally says that and says, wait a minute, this isn't right. Stims forward, takes out a siege tank, takes out a 2nd, takes out a 3rd siege tank, and says, you know what, this shouldn't be here. I'm gonna go ahead and kill everything. Look at the income tab just plummet. Now it's on equal footing.
I think this is a good game in the favor of Osiris. Osiris still has a mining base. He still has his complete infrastructure. Unfortunately for Aura, the main infrastructure that he has is those starports, and those starports require quite a lot more money than he actually has. We do see a counter-offensive in the form of Hellions, but all they're going to be able to do is take out the mules that are currently there, and those mules can be dropped from countless different bases that Osiris has, and I really think Aura is out of options right now.
Gas. I would have loved to see Ravens. Is that the only unit we didn't see? Nah, Ghost and Ravens. Yeah,
no,
Ghosts.
Yeah,
okay.
Obviously.
So Ghost. So both units heavy in gas, and right now Aura is heavy in gas. So he might have wanted to build those, but looks like these Hellions are just gonna go ahead and roll on throughout the map. Aura doesn't want to give up because he BM'd earlier, and he is about as red as his units are currently. But wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. That's a lot of Hellions.
No. Or Osiris is not going to
lose that siege tank.
He's going to be able to deal with it as long as he doesn't engage
There are still
Within
two
there.
planetary fortresses covering that third expansion, and then another planetary fortress at that fourth.
No, he can absolutely afford to lose that siege tank because as long as he stabilizes, as long as he keeps his expansion, he wins.
Yes.
He's continually dropping mules at his expansion. He can afford to make more SCVs, get more gas out, get more siege tanks out. He's gonna win. Aura has to push out, take out this entire force, and then deal damage to that base. And unfortunately, Osiris has lost that siege tank, so he's going to have to chase these Hellions because those Hellions do represent real damage that can be dealt. But I think Osiris has this in the bag. I think Aura is just holding on by
It'll
the
take
thinnest
approximately about
of slivers.
2.5 years for these Hellions to bring down any sort of base that Osiris has. So he's going to go ahead and chase around, do whatever he can. So no, wow, this game is awesome. God, I love StarCraft.
Yeah, and hats off to Aura constantly microing his Hellions back into the protective fold of these planetary fortresses. He's using them basically as siege tanks, allowing his Hellions to escape back to the AoE represented by those planetary fortresses and trying to make it so that those Marines melt away from those planetary fortresses. We see Osiris trying to engage them, and we're going to see how disastrous that proves to him. Wow, that's a lot of medevacs. They really do a good job at healing, don't they?
Yeah, no, that's A-okay. Drink. Looks like they're going to see the Hellions are going to go ahead and try to focus down this factory, and they're doing plenty of damage, especially when there's 3,000 of them focusing down on one single building. This factory does finally go down. They're going to go ahead and focus down on that Marauder. Osiris is going to go ahead and lift off and say, do what you will.
Yeah, those Hellions are doing a good amount of damage to the infrastructure, but unfortunately, I don't know how much damage he expects to do if Osiris maintains his economic advantage, and we can see it's 0 over 360, and 360
now
is an infinitely larger number than 0.
Wow.
Because that mule... But that energy is infinitely repeating. I mean, those mules are going to be continually
it's true, but
produced
Osiris's
by those
main army is at the front. He's letting these Hellions take down a command center, an orbital command. Wow. Wow.
It's a heavy loss for him, and every time he deals with one of these planetary fortresses, he takes down around 400 minerals, but he also loses quite a lot of Marines and Marauders, and even takes damage to his Vikings, which
so
that's irreplaceable.
Are we at a standstill currently?
No, I think these Hellions are going to continue to harass the base of Osiris, and it's going to be up to Osiris to push in, deal with the final amounts of planetary fortresses, and as long as he can deal with those planetary fortresses, I don't see any reason why he can't still take this base. He needs to deal with those Hellions. He needs to box them into an area, but they're so fast.
Osiris is doing a very smart thing. He's lifting
it.
off. Everything is in the air that can be in the air. I mean, a couple buildings here and there at the natural, but everything's in the air, pretty much in the air. He's pulling back his army to deal with these Hellions, but really, he took down the planetary fortress at the 4th, or 5th, as it were. He took down the 2 planetary fortresses at the 3rd, and now all that's left is a single planetary fortress at the 3rd. And then the 2 at the 5th. 6th?
Well, there's 1 at the 3rd, and then there's 2 at the 5th. So that's going to be a hard time. Really, what he needs to do is deal a death blow to those Hellions. If he can take all those Hellions, which is he's caught one of them with that Marauder Slow. Everyone that gets caught with that Marauder Slow is basically a dead unit, and the one that gets caught escapes this time.
Osiris is going to go ahead and put down all that energy he saved up while in the air. Puts down plenty of mules, actually 3 mules, and it looks like he's actually pulling back and just he's actually consolidating all of his. He's consolidating all of his unit producing structures into one base. Did you say that?
This is what I said I'd do like 10 minutes ago, is keep your base at home, keep your units at home, protect the only economic advantage that you have, that orbital command at the 4th, And don't worry about your infrastructure anywhere else. Your main, your natural, they can all go down. You can lift them off. You can move them elsewhere. Use your energy on your orbital commands. Keep your mules up.
Yeah,
and
wow.
mass
And
produce
that's exactly
Marines,
what
because
Osiris
that's
did.
what's
He
going to
actually
win you this game.
Well, no, he actually lifted off that orbital command. At that natural expansion, the main orbital command is up.
Fantastic.
Has 200 energy, and these barracks could actually stand to be lifted off. But yeah, no, Osiris is doing great. Food count is 34 over 26. Income tab is 900 because of those mules. And oh my god, this was a roller coaster of a game, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
yes,
may. You may. I give you permission. And,
anyways, is it time for story time yet? Because I noticed you said story time in the chat, but that was approximately 17 hours ago.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
That was when
Since
we
we
were
have a
talking
bit
about
of a lull
Warcraft,
in
I
the
believe.
action, since Hellions are gonna attack buildings, that takes forever. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah, Costco, right? So in the Costco, every Costco
Yeah,
that I've ever
absolutely.
been to anyway, has.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. I hate to interrupt, but Osiris has finally cornered Aura. He's cornered him in his face. Those Hellions are going down. Osiris is about to deal the absolute death blow. If he can
Half are
afford
already
to take
down.
out any of these Hellions, even half
Three-fourths
of them,
are down.
he's got this game.
That is it.
This is
Zero food for Aura. No income for either player. Nothing in production. Aura has 2 planetary fortresses at the 4th. A single at the 3rd. Oh my
Thank goodness.
a single Banshee will just finish this off. And I'm interested to see exactly what happens. Does Aura just leave at this point? He has nothing. Absolutely nothing. Looking at the units lost tab, he definitely won
he's got no
in the
hope.
units lost tab. 378 units lost compared to 617 of Osiris. But the resources definitely favor Aura or Osiris, I would say. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, those Marines are incredibly cheap in comparison to those battle cruisers, and Aura was mass producing those battle cruisers, and he was losing them to very, very, very cheap Marines. And those upgrades really just proved that Marines that are supplemented by other equipment, like those medevacs, like those Vikings, can prove to be incredibly cost effective. And Osiris unfortunately forced this game into the far, far late game. And I think Aura is completely out of options. In fact, he's hiding his orbital command in the bottom left corner. I think what we're going to see is Osiris mop up his opponent, and I would recommend highly skipping to times 8 speed so that we can get to the point where those Vikings
What do you
hunt
think
down.
this is? Bush League? No! No, sir. Oh my god. No.
Bronze League, baby. I'm completely out of bourbon. I need to go get bourbon. If
Just
you can
seconds?
solo cast for just a couple of seconds while I go get bourbon,
Easy mode.
I
Go.
would find it acceptable.
Anyways, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off
better
my
run.
story.
Easy mode?
It was Costco. It was down. Okay, Costco. So every once in a while, whenever we would go to Costco as a family, I would get the choice of picking a computer game because that's just what I would enjoy doing. I would pick out something and my parents would buy it for me every once in a while. Sometimes they'll say I would really like this, and they say like we can't because money's tight. Whatever, no big deal. Everything's fine, a-okay. Well, one day when we went to Costco, I asked my dad. I'm like, hey dad, is it alright if I get a computer game or a game in general? And he told me, yeah, go ahead and pick something out. And I'll see as long as it's under this much money. And he gave me $30, a $30 limit. And I said, cool, thank you. I'll go ahead and check it out. And the only 2 available options were either Warcraft 3 or the StarCraft 2 Battle Chest. StarCraft 2 Battle Chest was, I think at that point, was $24.99. Warcraft 3 was at $29.99. So right under the limit. I think Myst 1 or 2 was also available, but that was just thrown by the wayside. And I remember, I specifically remembered having both of these boxes in my hand. Warcraft 3 was in my left hand, the StarCraft 2 battle chest was in my right. And I was looking at these and just debating. I'm like, which one should I get? Which one should I get? I looked over the front of the smiley face. I looked over at the front of the box and said, well, you know what? We got a pure fantasy sort of thing in Warcraft. We have a futuristic game in StarCraft. So I looked at the back. I flipped them over. I looked at the back and I'm looking at this and saying what this is and what's that and how this is going. And in one of the pictures in the Warcraft 3 box was a ship. It looked like a... So I guess this is GG. Yeah, Osiris, you're correct. I looked at the back of the Warcraft 3 and it was a ship. It looked like an old 16th, 17th century Spanish galleon kind of thing. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay.
It would have been for the humans, right? Because
I don't know, I never played it.
Goblins were all like...
I never played Warcraft. So you came in half the story. So, okay, recap. I have StarCraft battle chest in my right hand, Warcraft 3 in my left hand. I'm looking, deciding, trying to figure out which one to buy. I flip and I look at the front, nothing gives to me. Nothing, I can't decide. So I flip them over, and I'm looking at the pictures, looking at the descriptions, trying to figure out what's what, and then I look at and I see the Spanish galleon on the Warcraft 3 picture, and it has wings, like flying bird wings.
Wait,
okay,
like
fine.
Wings?
I looked at that. I'm like, this is horseshit. Those wings aren't big enough to lift off that ship.
What? No. It wasn't that it had
regardless,
wings.
I looked at that.
To allow
I'm like,
to steer
there
while
was no
it's
way
midair,
those wings
and it was attached to a
could
giant
lift up
blimp.
that ship. Forget Warcraft. I picked up the StarCraft battle chest.
Good for you. Good for you, because it's a far superior game. However, Warcraft 3 is a different game. It was really weird.
Time out.
Basically, they took Warcraft and made it so it was all about... StarCraft is all about
the game's over.
micro... yeah,
or
go
lost.
ahead. No,
Osiris lost. Won. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yes, it is.
If not, leave comments down below on what I can do to make this more enjoyable for you. If it's Big and Scary's fault, go ahead and bash him. If it's not, give all the praise to me because I am obviously awesome. If you guys have a replay that you guys want me to cast of your own games, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.se is very popular. SC2 Replays is also up there. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here.